Camilo Perez Bustillo about the investigation and whether it might produce some answers. Camilo is a visiting professor in the government department at New Mexico State University.
There have been a series of reports by international experts, the group of independent experts from the Inter-American Human Rights Commission, which was an especially notable report, the forensic reports, much more specialized by the Argentine forensic anthropology team. All of them point in the same direction, that the government's version does not hold up under scrutiny. What the government had defined as the so-called historical truth regarding the case has completely fallen apart. And yet the government has not been able to come up with an alternative narrative. All that the government does is continue to promise more investigation, but the parents are demanding justice, are demanding that all of the defects in the investigation be addressed and that there be an independent investigation. President Peña Nieto was recently in New York addressing the United Nations as part of the General Assembly session. That happened to coincide with the first anniversary. He said nothing new. In fact, he said very little about the case in his speech, but his visit happened to coincide with the call for an international tribunal of conscience to investigate his responsibility and the responsibility of his administration for the case. So the call is beginning to be made not just by the parents within Mexico, but by concerned sectors from throughout the world.
Let me ask you about the chilling effect of really probing into the various issues going on in Mexico right now. Ruben Espinosa's death in March. If I'm not mistaken, 11 journalists killed in recent years. Just getting the story out about corruption and issues of flawed justice system. Talk to me about the chilling effect of that.
Yeah, I think we're really looking at a process where all of these various different serious human rights violations converge. On the one hand, we have cases like Ayotzinapa, which sadly is not the exception, it's the rule in terms of terror and repression against activist sectors such as students, young people, the criminalization of youth. On the other hand, we have these targeted killings, Ruben Espinosa's and that of Nadia Vera in Mexico City very recently, which highlight the jeopardy that journalists face in Mexico, the threats, the persecution, the harassment.
Also taking place in New York this week, this international tribunal. I know you've been active in that. What do you hope to come out as a result of that? And tell us more about it.
Yeah, the International Tribunal of Conscience is a convergence of over 600 individuals and organizations from more than 50 countries. It was founded in 2010. It builds on the work of other tribunals of conscience, such as the Permanent People's Tribunal. And the focus in New York was on Ayotzinapa as kind of an emblematic case, an illustrative case. So what the tribunal seeks to do is to apply pressure to the Mexican government and to invoke and to call out to the international community the need to put pressure on Mexico to live up to its international obligations in terms of human rights.